We have a doozy of a podcast for you to. What the frick is a doozy? Hold on a second. A doozy is something outstanding or unique of its kind. Yes, this is a doozy of a podcast. Yo, you literally have a horse that you can feed off the back of your runway.
I'm too old to be getting in fistfights.
You're an Olympian, but you didn't get to compete at the Olympics.
Yeah, that sucks big time. I never thought in a million years that, first of all, that it would grow to be this. You know, I went from 2 kids and a hobby to a full-fledged business. All the clubs in Texas have boycotted USATF.
I talked with Glenn Colivas. He runs one of the most unique and successful pole vault clubs in the world. Check this out. Let me know what you think and get to know Glenn Colivas. I have a lot of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I might just start diving in. Is that all right?
Sounds good.
What year did you start pole vaulting? Like, was it high school, middle school?
Yeah, I started my junior year in high school, and in Canada, we only go to grade 11,
Okay.
whereas in the States, y'all go to 12.
Yeah.
So I started, I guess, in 10th grade, and I jumped 10th grade and 11th grade. And I jumped pretty good. I think I jumped 13.6 in high school, something like that.
Did you have like a line of poles back then too?
No,
No. Oh,
no,
so
I
all
had
was
one pole.
you
I
had
had
one
one
pole?
pole. An old Browning. It was about this thick.
Yeah. Was
Yeah,
it?
an old Browning pole we bought at a local sporting goods store.
Did you have a coach then, or like what were you doing
Um,
to figure this out?
yeah, I had a coach. He knew a little bit about it, yeah, and taught me how to run with it and plan it and leave the ground and all that business. Yeah. But basically, when I went to meets, I was by myself. It was just run, jump, and do the best you can.
So what were your focuses back then? Because I hear a lot of people. Um, it's almost like that era was like you guys were. I call you guys fiberglass cowboys. Like you're trying to figure out the event still, right?
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
just a few years prior, everyone was on steel poles, right? So like what kinds of things were you trying to do with this one pole, and how, if you can remember, like what was your thought
Oh,
process?
I know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Run fast, plant high. That was it.
And it worked.
It worked because I was
Still,
pretty fast. I mean, I
yeah.
ran 7 or 8 events at a track meet. I just didn't pole vault. You know, I high jumped, long jumped, triple jumped, ran on the relay teams, through javelin. I did 8, 9, 10 events at a track meet. Pole vault was just one of them.
Yeah. So with the pole vault stuff, um, I, I I I guess like what kind of experimentation were you trying? Were you trying to do anything unique or different, or was it always just I'm gonna run as fast as I can and see how like high I can hold or plant tall?
Yep.
Yeah,
And not get hurt. And not get
not get
hurt.
hurt. Because I just heard the story again with Joe Dial. Have you heard him putting helium in his pole when he was trying to make it lighter? Have you heard that story?
Uh-uh.
No, so okay, so Joe Dial, they used to have corks in the pole. You probably know all about this stuff. Where they used to put corks in the end of the pole, and Joe thought if he could put helium in his pole, then it would make it lighter, and he would put the cork in there. And what ended up happening is he planted the pole, and the cork blew off, and it sounded like a gun went off, and everyone dropped to the ground and they thought a shot went off, right? They
Oh
thought there
my
was someone
goodness.
shooting. And he goes,
Wow.
that was the first and last time we did that. Didn't make it any lighter. It just scared the crap out of everybody.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting though that there's a lot of kids out there. It sounds like you were the one a handful of poles and not really understanding exactly what to do, and somehow they're still making it work.
I had no clue. Run fast, plan high. Those
Yeah,
were my cue. Those were my cues. Run fast, plan high.
is that
And
what your coach?
I was pretty fast,
Yeah,
but
is that what your coach was
so
telling you to do too? Like just run fast, plant high.
run fast, plan high. That was it.
Yeah, is it? And that's all. Every practice
That
was
was it.
run
That was
faster,
it.
plant higher
Yep.
for 2 years.
I mean, no clue on where to put the standards. It was crazy. We'd stand in the box and just hold the pole up and go, okay, a little bit that way. Okay, a little bit this way. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah, I should probably hold here, right? So I can get over
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Um, and you just learned the event that way, right? So in 2 years, you did you get a scholarship for college after that, or how did you
No, no,
manage?
I didn't go to college until 2 years after.
Oh, okay.
I worked in a steel factory. I was still playing hockey. I was still playing football. We won a Canadian championship playing football. Um, yeah, I was just an athlete, and pole vaulting was just something I did. When I go to track meets, I do 6, 7 events at a track meet. Pole vault was just one of them.
Yeah.
And then when the '76 Olympics came to Montreal, I worked at the Olympics, and I met a guy from Edmonton out west, and he was a pole vaulter, and him and I started hanging out together, and he was about the same as me, maybe a little bit better, and we just started training together, and I never really trained at pole vault because I did so many other things,
Yeah.
and yeah, my big thing was why I improved 3 feet in one calendar year. I
Wow.
went from 13.6 to 16.6 in one calendar year just because I focused on pole vault, not football, baseball, hockey, and then soccer and all the other sports that I did. I kind of focused on pole vault a little bit more. And yeah, 3 feet in one year was the deal. It was pretty cool. Um, I remember jumping in the Canadian Junior Olympics, and there was a kid there that was going to school at Austin P State University, where I ended up going. And he said, if you jump this high, you can get a scholarship to my school. And I think it was like 15 something or other. And that summer, I jumped 15.7 or something like that at the Junior Olympics. And he says, when I get back to school, I'm going to tell my coach about you. So I'm going about my business, and I'm working in a steel factory, and I'm engaged to my high school sweetheart. And then all of a sudden, I get this call. This is Coach Wayne Williams from Austin P State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. Pat says you're a pole vaulter. I said, yeah, yeah. He goes, if you can jump what Pat says you can jump, I can give you a full ride. I said, dude, I'll pack my bags tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon. That was it. The rest
Man.
was history. I ended up in Clarksville, Tennessee at Austin P State University. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. So what was the training? What like how was it different than what you were doing? What was the essentially pole vault focus you said you were doing?
Um, a lot more training as far as specific stuff. Like I never lifted a weight in my life, so I had weight training, um, interval training, hills, stuff like that that any college track team would put you through. And I had a coach my first year. He was also a pole vaulter. And then I think he got hurt, and then that was it. I was by myself the rest of the time. I was at Austin P. I was basically by myself, teaching myself, watching videos, reading the mechanics of pole vault book. That was my Bible.
Yeah.
Go to track meets and just talk to other people, uh, see what they're doing, and just try to get better.
So you didn't have a coach in college then? Is that
No,
essentially?
no,
Jeez. So you got a full ride without a coach.
yeah,
Holy cow, man. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So like how was your mindset approaching that situation? Because like that would be I mean, that sounds frustrating. I would be frustrated if I was in your shoes, if you're just like I don't
Um,
know where to go, except hopefully someone at this meet I'm going to go to knows something they can give me and bring me back home, you know?
I just, I just trained hard and did everything I was supposed to do to get faster and stronger. I read books. I talked to other pole vaulters when I was at meets, um, and just find out what they were doing. And then just, my freshman year in college, there was two other pole vaulters, two of them from Indiana. Um, and then after my freshman year, they were gone. Um, I think one got into drugs and the other one just quit. But I was basically by myself after my freshman year trying to figure it out, you know.
Jeez.
And yeah,
So I've
I made
never
I made the NCAAs every year. I
really.
qualified for the NCAAs every single year of my college. Yeah,
How does that feel that like you essentially did that on your own,
I
right?
did. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
got to
cool.
feel even cooler, right? I would
Oh
think.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, man. How did NCAs go then?
I got second in 1980 indoors.
That's wild. I didn't
Yeah,
know that either.
yeah.
So what kind of things were in the mechanics of pole vault? So I've never gotten to read it. I've seen a few pictures of it. I've heard it was like the book of your guys' generation essentially because there was nothing
Yes,
else, right?
it was my Bible.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, it
beginner to
was my
Boobka
Bible.
was my Bible, for a long time. Like
Which one?
beginner to Boobka,
Oh,
because
really?
yeah,
Okay.
there wasn't anything else. So like I didn't.
I think I have that book right now somewhere in the house.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like everyone had it at some point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about that book. Like what kinds of things were in there that helped you become a better pole vaulter?
I actually jumped with Sergey Bubka
Did you?
in Montreal. Yeah.
That's wild. What
Yeah.
was he like?
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was only like 18 or 19 at the time. He was just starting. And we were at the Olympic practice track and he was competing in a meet there at the Olympic Stadium. And I was working out and he was working out and we were jumping together. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. Jeez. Not many people can say they did that. That's pretty
Yeah,
neat, man.
it was cool. His run was just amazing. I couldn't believe the way he ran down the runway. He was like a machine. It
Yeah.
was crazy cool.
Did you try and like take things from him then too? Like
Oh yeah. I
at that
mean,
time? I mean,
I was
he was still
and
early in his thing,
I
right?
found out later on when I started coaching, what, being a PE teacher and I had to coach football and track and all the sports that went along with it. I found out as a young coach that the more you can steal from other coaches, the better off you're going to be. You take what you need and then you leave the rest. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, you dump it.
Yeah.
So I would take little bits and pieces from each person. Bob Kreitz was another one from Indiana that I knew for quite a while in the pole vault world. Um, yeah, I would just steal little bits and pieces and put together my own puzzle.
Yeah. At that time, was there like any big aha moments that you had that kind of unlocked your vault for you, or that someone told you?
No.
No, just a slow
Hey,
progress up.
I was told run fast, plant high.
Yeah,
Those were my cues. And I was pretty fast. I mean, I was a 10,700 guy, so I was pretty fast down the runway. So my speed, I didn't have the best plant in the world, but my speed managed to get me where I got to go. Mostly my speed, and plus lifting weights. I never lifted a weight until I got to college.
yeah. I was the
So
same way actually.
I
Yeah,
didn't know what weightlifting was. I didn't know how to bench press. I didn't know an incline. I didn't know what anything was.
yeah. Huh. So technique wise, you weren't even really focused on that. It was just all about speed. It sounds like for you, speed and
Run
strength.
fast, plant high.
Run fast, plan high. I'll quit asking you technique questions then, because keep going to run fast, plan high. So now you're in college, right? Um, was the Olympics on your mind at all through that whole time, or did you have like
No,
a no?
no,
So
no.
how did that come to be?
Um, I guess as the higher heights came, I don't know. At some point I figured I might be able to get that Olympic qualifying height, and I did, which
What
was
was
pretty cool.
what was the qualifying height at? Because it was 1984, right?
1980.
80. Okay,
Yeah. So Canada has different qualifying heights than the United States, and our Olympic qualifying height was 17.2 3/4 or something
okay,
like that, and I jumped 17.3, so I qualified.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so people who don't know, this is maybe one of the most fascinating things that you've told me about you, but you're an Olympian, but you didn't get to compete at the Olympics,
Yeah, that
which is
sucks big time.
yeah. And that was 80, you said?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
and Canada boycotted the Olympics that year.
Yeah, along with everybody else, United
Yeah.
States and everything. Yeah, we did go over to Europe and compete in some pre-Olympic competitions, and we came back to the States and jumped in Philadelphia and they call it the Freedom Games. Messed up my ankle over in Germany, so I was all taped up. I couldn't jump much after
Yeah.
that, but
Well,
yeah.
so what was that like? There had to be like a huge high qualifying, right? So everyone thinks they're going to the Olympics, and then like how much time goes by before they decided to boycott it for you?
I think somebody asked me that question the other day on the golf course. And I tried to think back on when it was. I know that I was still at school in Austin P in Tennessee, and we were going because reporters would ask me all the time, are you guys is Canada still going to the Olympics? And I said, as far as I know, yes.
Yeah.
I know when I went back home to Canada and jumped in the Olympic qualifier, we were still going. I won the Olympic qualifier and we were still going. And that was, I think, early June. So I think like maybe late June, Canada decided we're not going.
Jeez, it's just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So you're not
So,
like, I would imagine you're like on top of the world for those
oh
couple
yeah.
weeks, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what did do you remember? And I don't want to bring you back here because probably not comfortable feelings or anything, but like what was that like to hear that? That you weren't going.
Um,
Like, did you go cry in a like a tunnel or anything?
no, no, I didn't cry. But yeah, it sucked big time. Every kid's dream is to get to somewhere like that. The Olympics is the pinnacle. I mean, you go to big meets, NCAA championships, Canadian championships, this and that. You get to travel here and there and compete. Um, but the Olympics, that's big time. And not to and qualify and work as hard as I did to get to work to make the team. That sucked big time, man. It sucked. And I'm still adamant about that boycott. I mean, come on, man. People train hard for a good part of their life, and then you just pull the rug from under them and say, yeah, we're not going. I
Yeah.
know it's a political thing with Moscow and this and that and Russia, but yeah, it kind of sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it just looking at you. It still irks, you know?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And it probably always will. I mean, how many chances do you get to go to the Olympic Games? I mean,
Right.
not too many. Maybe
No.
twice, maybe three times if you're, you know, Mondo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's
But for
wild.
me, I started late, right? Because I didn't go to college right out of high school. I went 2 years after high school is when I went to college. So I was older. So, I only had so much left in me, right? I
Yeah.
think I was like 20, let's see, 24, 25. So 26, so I would be 28 or 29 when the next Olympics rolled around. And I don't know.
So after that, is that when you decided to stop training then, or did you
No,
think
I
about keep
still
going?
jumped. I still jumped. I jumped through 81, I think. We went to the Pacific Conference Games over in New Zealand, and I jumped over in, different places all over the world, which was pretty cool. Taipei, Taiwan, and I got to travel pole vaulting, which was really, really cool. And then it got to a point where I was spending more time in the bar than I was in the gym, so it was time to hang it up.
Yeah. What it I guess so. Like, how was it hard to give pole vault up for you, or was it just like this chapter's over? Like you kind of knew.
Yeah, I kind of knew. Had some injuries, that wouldn't go away, and it was just tough to stay healthy and stay on track and keep training. And I was working too because I mean, although I was a carded athlete in Canada,
Yeah.
they give you so much money a month to try to live on. It's hard to live on it. So I was working in the restaurant business and doing different things, and yeah, it kind of just went away.
Yeah. Was there like money back then for athletes at all? I know you talked about, Canada gave you some, but
No,
um,
Canada, the only money I got was from Sport Canada,
okay,
which you have to be called a carded athlete.
okay,
Carded athletes, they have different classifications, A, B, and whatever. You have to jump or compete or have a time for a certain, if a 100-meter person, you have to run so fast, or a long jumper, you have to jump so long to be a carded athlete. Once you're a carded athlete, they give you so much money per month,
okay.
and you're supposed to live off it, which is kind of hard.
Yeah, I had some Canadian friends when I was jumping too, and they were like 540 was the I don't know if they called it carded, but that's where they started getting financial aid or whatever it
Hmm.
was now. But
Yeah. Yep.
is do you see it kind of the same now as it was then? Like you're kind of struggling in the sport just to make it work, or do you think it was easier then than it is now?
I know that it's easier now, I think, because there's more sponsorship availability out there, like shoe sponsors, pole sponsors. I did get my shoes and poles for free once I jumped a certain height, but there was no money involved. It was just free, free equipment,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember in the year I got second in the nation in the NCAA's indoors, they flew my brand new poles to Detroit, and I'd never jumped on them before. Um, who was it? Steve Smith was working for Pacer at the time. He was in the stands too. And one of the big wigs from Pacer was in there. And they flew poles, especially to the NCAA's, just for me to jump on because I really didn't have anything.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah,
So you were a Pacer guy back then
hmm
too? Yeah. Well, that's pretty wild. Steve Smith is watching you in the
yeah, I was
stands
Pacer
too.
and Adidas Canada, and Adidas USA. So I would get free stuff from Adidas USA and free stuff from Adidas Canada. And I would take what I want and I would sell the rest on campus. Kids would want shoes and sweats and different things. And I just picked what I liked and I'd sell the rest so I could live, you know, party a little bit. I get a little party money. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough when you're in college, right?
Yeah, it
You
definitely
don't
is.
have a job or nothing. You're just there and you don't have any money.
No.
I didn't.
Are you a little jealous of like what's going on now where you can
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I'm the same way. Like where you
NIL money and all that business. Yeah.
yeah. Well, so I went to NDSU and like all these colleges now are just giving their athletes like a stipend essentially like every month. And I'm like, you guys are just getting money to be athletes? Like how does that work? And you get to be on social media and try and sell your likeness. I remember I had to go to the AD and let them know I was going to compete in a karate tournament. And she goes, "You cannot win money. Like if you win money, there you can't. It's against NCAA. It's a
Yeah.
violation." And she was like, "People can't take pictures of you and use it forever." And I'm like, "I'm not in control of any of that. Like, what am I supposed to do?" And she's like, "You should probably just not go to that." I was like, "This feels gross. Like I can't do anything else." It felt like you're kind of in a cage, you know? Were the NCAA rules kind of that strict for you guys too back then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gross. I'm sorry about that. So, okay, let me get back to my questions here. I'm going off on tangents a little bit. Okay, so once you stopped pole vaulting, what did you do after that? So,
I
yeah,
worked in the restaurant business
okay,
because I was working in a restaurant business. I started as a busboy, up to a waiter, up to a bartender, up to a manager, and just worked my way up through the restaurant business because when I was still pole vaulting over the summers, um, it was easy cash money in your pocket. So I just stayed in the restaurant business for a while. And I hadn't actually graduated from college yet. I'd lacked 12 hours. So I'm in Montreal working in a restaurant, and then I moved to Orlando, Florida. And then from Florida, I moved back to Tennessee, finished my degree, my teaching degree, and was still in the restaurant business. And then decided, hey, I might as well use my teaching degree. So I started teaching in Clarksville, Tennessee. I went to a job fair at Austin P, where I went to school, and there was a job opening in Houston, Texas. And they said, how soon can you get here? And I said, okay, I'll pack my bags. I loaded up my car and I drove from Clarksville, Tennessee to Houston, Texas, and I've been here ever since.
that's wild.
So I taught physical education at the elementary level, middle school level, and then I just retired about 12 years ago from the middle school level. I coach football and track. And yeah, right towards the end of my teaching career, two of my former students said, hey, coach, I remember you said you used to pole vault. Can you help us? And I said, sure. So we went over to the local high school. I went into their shed. I got a couple of poles. We started jumping. Then I ended up taking a trip to Dallas to the Essex factory, met Bruce Caldwell, gave me the tour. I bought 5 or 6 poles from him, brought them back to Houston, and then we started pole vaulting, and Bay Area Pole Vault was born, kinda. I got from those two students, I got two more from here and two more from there, and a girl from here and a boy from there, and it just started growing and growing and growing right around the corner from my house. I mean, I could walk to the high school from where I live right now.
That's wild too. Jeez,
Yeah.
man. So okay, I'm gonna break this down just a little bit because a lot of people ask me like, how do you start a club, right? They have no idea. But so you started coaching just like at a high school.
Yeah,
It's
two
as
of my
simple as
former
that.
students. Yep.
Yeah. So you started with two kids.
Yep.
Do you know what year that was off the top of your head?
Ooh. If you're good at math, it was probably 13 or 14 years ago.
Okay, so 1942. I'm terrible at math, man. Okay, so two kids, and then you said other schools were like, okay, this guy knows he's talking about pole vaulting, so let's go there. Or kids kind of found you
Well,
through
what
the
happened
meets.
was, yeah, when we would go to meets, I would see other kids at meets and I'd say, man, he's on the wrong pole. He's on the wrong run. Where's his coach at? And no coach to be found. And then it was just word of mouth, that they saw my kids jumping really well. And I said, man, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So, I'd get one from here and one from there and one from here, just all word of mouth. I didn't have a website. I didn't have nothing. It was just word of mouth. People started saying, hey, this guy here, if you want to pole vault, you might want to go see this guy. And it just kept growing and growing and building and building. And then finally I got to a point where I got to give it a name.
Yeah.
Came up. I was sitting at a bar with my friends after golf one day, and I said, "I've got this pole vault thing going on. I got a bunch of kids. What should I call it?" So we came up with Bay Area Pole Vault Academy because where I live, it's called the Bay Area because there's a bay that comes through from Galveston, Clear Lake, Bay Area. And we came up with the name, so we came up with Bay Area Pole Vault Academy. I added the academy on the end of it because I like the teaching part. I've been a teacher all my life, so I like to be able to teach. I don't just want to show you, let's just show up in pole vault. No, I want to teach. I want to teach you the different parts of the pole vault like a puzzle. Put the puzzle together, and hopefully we can jump high.
Yeah. You don't want to give people fish. You want to teach them how to fish, it sounds like, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna go back a little bit again. So I'm sure rules were in place again where you couldn't have other schools jump with you during the school season, or were kids coming with you during the school season, or was this all kind of like a summer club? Is that how it started, like at the high school level? Like, or did you use the high school as your BAPVA at the time?
Yeah, yeah. Because being a teacher in the district for so long, I knew all the coaches,
Yeah.
so they let me use the facility.
Okay.
They let me. I had keys to the shed where we stored our poles, and then what happened was that they did a reconstruction at the school I was at, Clear Lake High School. So I knew the coach over at Pearland High School. So he said, yeah, you can come over here. So we went over to Pearland High School and we're jumping there. And then a dad of one of my pole vaulters said, hey, he owned this place called AVA, Absolute Volleyball Academy. He said, hey, why don't you build a runway and put it right beside our building? I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I had one of my vaulters' dad build the runway in his garage. We put the runway on trucks one day, and we carted everything over to AVA, and we bought some pallets, and we set the mats. I bought a used set of mats, put the mats on some pallets, built the runway as best we could. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We had no clue
As
what
long
we
as
were
it's
doing.
somewhat straight, right?
Yep. And then eventually I met another guy that knew how to build a platform, and he built a platform for me. And then we got really busy and we got bigger. So I had to build another runway. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. Bryn King, my Olympian, his dad built the other runway.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty
He
cool.
he was in the construction business. I think he built Walmarts or something. But him and his crew came out. He built that runway in one day. So
Holy cow.
that was Rocky's one, right? Rocky would coach over there, and I would coach at the other one. And then, yeah, crazy how it grew. It just kept growing and growing and growing, and it was just all word of mouth. And then I actually got a website done. I built a website. Well, I didn't do it. One of my
Yeah.
vaulters helped me build the website, and then I had a mom take it over once he graduated. And I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been all just word of mouth and, no advertising whatsoever. And people are just seeing how good the kids were getting and how everything was. And man, I want to be a part of that. And it actually got out of hand a couple years ago. We were 80 and a waiting list,
80?
80 pole vaulters and a waiting list.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
It was
not great,
nuts.
but that's wild.
A
It's
little
a lot.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little much. So you just sent me a video of was that Robert?
that was Robert.
So, okay, we'll talk about Robert in a little bit, but
Yeah.
he was doing a one arm pole vault.
Oh no, that was his friend
Okay,
Jacob.
that was his
That was
friend.
Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know that has almost like a 250,000 views in 2 days on my
What?
Instagram? Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Hopefully it got you some people
Holy
sent your
wow.
way. Yeah, it kind of blew up.
Wow.
Kind of kind of went crazy. But yeah,
Wow.
just to let you know.
Jacob's actually in Colorado right now, and he's going to come back for the meet and help me work the meet in a
Is he
couple
still
weeks.
jumping too?
Jacob, no.
No. You should try and get him to see if he can break his one arm pole vault
Yeah,
record. That'd be
I
pretty
know,
boring.
right? He was pretty good at it.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of the comments. I don't know if you've read any of them, but they were just like, this kid must be superhuman strength, one hand gripping on this thing. But so that was the facility you're talking about, right? On the side of the volleyball
Yep, that was
facility?
it.
Okay.
That was it.
And so I'm just gonna re-say what you said, make sure I'm on track here. So started with two kids. There was an interest. Everyone was like, "Well, I need to know what these guys are doing. They can help me out to pole vault higher." So they kind of flocked to you at this point. And as it grew, you just needed more space. It sounded like, right, and other places to go. And so then,
Mhm.
where did you go from this volleyball side of the volleyball place to this epic, facility you have now, literally in Rocky's backyard, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so AVA, Absolute Volleyball Academy, they were renting that building and they wanted to build their own. So they moved off and built their own multi-million-dollar facility off of Nass Road 1. And this guy came in there called Roman Iron Jim. He was a young guy and he was cocker and shit. And he was blaming me for the parking problems he was having because he was so busy. It was a weightlifting place. It's just all weightlifting. It's a gym. And he was getting on my case about the parking problem. I said, dude, it's not me. You're that busy that the parking lot's getting full. So I told Rocky, I said, man, eventually he's probably going to kick us out of here. So we got to go look for a place. So every Friday we'd get in my truck and we'd scour the city, going here and there and looking for properties to move all that equipment over to. And I was playing golf one day with my buddy, and he goes, "Hey, my daughter-in-law is a realtor. Maybe she can help you." And she turned me on to the place where you were at, okay, on Ohio Avenue, which is literally 2 blocks away from where we were. So the move was really easy.
Mhm.
I saw the place and I walked in the back and I went, wow, if we buy this place for Rocky, we could put both those pits back there. They'd fit in perfectly. I'll cover it so we can jump in the rain. And yeah, that's how it all started. I mean, it's crazy. I
Yeah.
love it there. I love it there. We jump rain, snow, doesn't matter. We're jumping.
But you were telling me like last time I was there was kind of scary, right? Like there was like a leap of faith in a way to see if this would work, right?
Hmm.
So like what did you have to do? Was it just a financial thing or was it will people come? Will they follow us here or will it work? Like
Oh,
what was
no, I didn't, I had no worries about that because we were
okay.
already 40 or 50 strong when we moved over there.
Okay.
Yeah, it got bigger when we moved over there, but we were already big. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Big enough for sure. It sounds like though,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So you have this new facility. I feel like the only thing that I've seen that is a little wonky is you get a tornado that seems to rip through it every once in a while.
Yes, yes. Well, we fixed that problem because I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
So I've got these strap downs that I can strap down both pits and they're not going anywhere.
Okay. So what do you do with the club? So what makes you guys unique that like other clubs aren't doing? What like do you think about that very often? Like what's your special sauce that, has people choosing BAPVA?
I think it's just the way I guess I got this from you. There's more than one way to pole vault. Set, I don't have tunnel vision. I'm wide open and I coach each athlete to their specifics. Whatever they bring me, that's what I coach. Some are faster, some are stronger. and so I'd hate to coach to a model. I'd like to coach to the athlete.
Yeah.
You know, my whole deal when I was growing up and as a pole vaulter was run fast, plan high. So you could see that on the carpet when you walk into the place. The first thing you see on the carpet is run fast, plant high, stay positive, get negative. And that's our motto there is you know, you can make the pole vault so difficult. I try to make it easy. Run fast, plant high, stay positive, get negative. And the stay positive, get negative part is every workout is not going to be all peaches and cream, but you have to stay positive. Okay. The get negative part is if you want to go vertical, you have to get negative on the pole. So get your feet past the top hand before you go up the pole. That's the get negative part. So run fast, plant high, stay positive, get negative is our motto.
Yeah.
And I think the kids they love it. And we talk to them. I mean, we do it's just like a family. It's more of a family situation. It's like once you're part of Bay Area Pole Vault, you're part of a family, and we'll take care of you, and we'll do anything we need to do to make you better. We go to your meets, like Rocky will go to a meet across town. I'll go to a meet on the other side of town, wherever the most of the kids are. We bring the poles to them for them. We coach them up. I mean, it's just like a family, and all the parents, it's just one big family.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. I never thought in a million years that, first of all, that it would grow to be this. I went from two kids and a hobby to a full-fledged business. Barrier
Right.
pole vault is a business.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
big, man. Yeah.
and I don't know anything about business. I was a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So I had to learn as I went along. How do I do this? How to do that? How do I buy this? How do I pay for that? It was
Yeah.
crazy. My wife said, "You can't be spending $20,000 a year on buying new poles every year, man. That's crazy."
Yeah.
So I came up with the solution. Every kid in the club has to rent at least two poles for the track season. They're free all year round, but during track season, you have to rent at least two poles. Guess what? Every kid that rents two poles pays for all the poles that I buy.
Oh, there you go. I haven't heard anyone
So
do
I
that
don't have
before.
to
That's
I don't have to
brilliant.
go into my pocket anymore.
Yeah.
And I have $250,000 worth of poles sitting there.
Yeah. And you rent them out to other schools now too,
I
right?
do, yeah.
Yeah.
The other schools rent from us too. Yep.
Okay. Man, that's a cool way to do that. I've never heard anyone do it that way before.
Yeah.
So,
Other people have asked me about that, and I said, here's the deal. If you don't want to have to go into your own pocket, make your athletes just during track season rent at least two poles from you, and you won't have to go in your pocket to buy poles anytime. And last year was the first year in what, 12 years now I've been doing this, 12 years, 13 years. The first year that I haven't had to go in my pocket to buy poles, and I only had to buy five.
crazy.
I was usually buying, 15 to 20 poles a year
Yeah.
because every year the most popular pole changes. Like
Yeah.
one year it might be a 12,960, next year it might be a 1240. So if I have five kids jumping on a 1240, I need five of those poles.
Yeah.
And if I only have three, I got to buy two more. So that's how I built that inventory. Every year the most popular pole changed, so I'd have to buy more of them. So like if you look on my inventory, you might see six 12,940s because one year that was a really popular pole.
Yeah. Do you sell them then to schools at the
I
end?
do. I sell them. I sell them if I have them. If I this is how I work it. So every
Okay.
year in January, because their outdoor season starts in February. So in January, I make a list and I put everybody's name on it. And I tell the kids, write down three poles that you think you're going to need for the track season. You want your four-step pole, you want your meat pole, and you want a go-to pole. So they write down their three poles, and I take that list and I compare it to what I have in my inventory. So if I look down my list and I need six 12-foot 40s and I only have three, I buy two more.
Okay.
So that's how I build my inventory. But right now, as it stands right now, I have so many freaking poles.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy anymore, really.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to this year because I've got some kids that are jumping on some pretty big sticks. I got a sophomore that's jumping on a 1580.
Jeez.
I mean, it's a huge pole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But For the little ones, all those 10/8s, 11s, 11/5s, 12s, all that business. I've got tons of those, and I have multiples of a lot of them.
What's the smallest pole you have? Say,
I
because
have an 8-foot pole.
you do.
Uh-huh.
Do you know the weight on that thing for anybody who's curious?
I don't know if there's a weight on it.
Like, does it bend? I would imagine so.
Yeah, you could bend it if you had a really good plant, but most people jumping on 8-foot poles don't have a
Yeah, they're
really
not
super
bending
big
very.
plant.
Yeah, I was just curious because I feel like I'm seeing a lot more middle school kids trying this, like really, even fifth graders. And you're like, there's that rule of thought now with Tim Riley that never don't start with straight poles anymore, just go right to bent poles because we can. We have the
Yeah,
the poles for it now, and I'm I'm actually on board with that if you have the poles. If you don't, like most schools, high schools, that's not even an option. You start with straight poling just to figure this event out. But
yeah,
yeah, that's why I was just curious, like it's smallest pole just to try and get a kid to, you know, figure the event out. But an 8 foot pole is pretty little. I don't think a lot of people
yeah.
have even seen one before.
I've got one 8-foot pole.
Yeah.
I got a 9/6. I got an 8-foot pole. I got a 9/6, and then we go 10, 10/8, 11, 11/5, 12, 12/4, 12/6, 12/9, 13, 13/3, 14, 14/3, 14/6, 14/9, 15, 15/3, 15/6, 15/9. That's the progressions.
Were you always buying poles in good progression? Or, I mean, I shouldn't say good because there's a lot of different ways to progress poles, but from early on when you were starting to buy them, were you buying bigger gaps so you could kind of spread it out a little bit more? Or were you trying to keep them as close as you could? Like, what was your thought process on?
It would depend on the athletes I had.
Okay, so you always took the athlete first and figured out
Hmm.
what they needed. Okay.
Yep.
And, and I guess from there, like, I'm gonna go back a question real quick. How so was there anything else your wife was like, this is just getting out of hand. We need to slow down. Not just the pole stuff, but was there other things that because
No,
I
because
hear this a lot.
no, because I was retired. I retired from teaching. She's 10 years younger than me, so she's still teaching. So this was my gig, man. I
Yeah.
was I was coaching pole vaulters and playing golf. That was my life.
That's a
That's all
good
I
life
did.
right there.
I play golf during the morning and I coach kids in the evening. I mean that what you can't get a better gig than that.
Yeah. During this
You
whole
know,
pro Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you, man. I
no,
didn't
you're
mean.
good. Like I told Rocky, I said, you got the best part-time job in the world, girl.
Yeah. It's right in her backyard.
Work
So
12
cool.
hours a week and make $42,000. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's
You
fantastic.
can't beat that.
No. Um, oh man, I just forgot my question. But
You're okay.
it's all right. It happens. Brains do that sometimes, don't they? Um, what kind of values do you feel like you hold for the club? Like, do you hold the kids to a certain standard you want them to operate at while they're within the club? Because you say it feels like a family, and when I was there, it did. But I don't think that just happens. It feels like you need a ringleader, like your coaches, to do that
I
for those
think what
kids.
they like, I think what the kids like and the parents like is the fact that we don't coddle them. You know, um, if you're doing something good, you're going to get praise. If you're doing something bad, you're going to hear about it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just we just tell it like it is. I've always been that kind of guy. Um, where if you're doing something good, man, you're going to get all the praise in the world, but if you're doing something bad, we're going to fix it.
yeah,
And there's no, you saw the signs when you walk in, there's no coddling.
no,
The signs say, no, we're not going to coddle you.
yeah,
We're going to tell you what's going on and how to fix it and get on with it. And I think the parents and kids like that. They like that, that kind of attitude where it's let's do this, and let's do this together, and let's get it right.
yeah. Is there any difference between the technical side of things you do, like the pole vault side of things, but also like the character of the kids? Do you feel like you have to talk to that very often? Like, I guess bullying or anything else like that. I would imagine I didn't see any of that or going on. Everyone was celebrating everyone else, even if they lost, right? And someone jumped higher than them. Like, is that something you think about, or does it just come naturally for the
It just
kids
comes
there?
naturally. We have, I don't know if you know this, but before every practice, the kids sit on the pit. and I talk to them. And I pick different topics each day. Um, Try not to be repetitive, but all pole vault related. We have, I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a grab bag
Mhm.
where I ask them pole vault questions. And if they answer the pole vault question correctly, they get to dig in the grab bag, and your book is in there.
Oh, really?
And once somebody wins that book, I replace it and then put another book in there. So
Oh,
everyone has a chance to get that book. I've got stickers in there. I've got keychains in there. I got a lot of cool stuff,
yeah.
but it makes them, and it makes them be aware that if they want something, they have to work for it. They have to understand, the mechanics of the pole vault, how it works. Because the questions I ask them are all pole vault related. How far back can the standards go?
Mm.
You know, what do flex numbers mean on the pole? I asked them just pole vault questions, different pole vault questions, and it's stuff that they've been taught, so they should know it. And yeah, it's fun like that. And we talk to them. I've got that TV up there, and we put the workout on there, and we tell them this is cycle 2. This is what we're working on. This is what you need to get better. This is what you need to do to get better. Each cycle blends into the next cycle. So it's really important that you focus on what we're doing. And I think they like the fact that we just don't show up, warm up, pull up.
Yeah.
We always, because I told them, they all know that the two most important things in the pole vault is the run and the plant. So we work on those a lot. So the first thing we do is form running, whether it's form running without a pole, form running with a pole. They do some kind of form running to warm up because I believe you never stretch a cold muscle. So
Yeah.
you always want to warm your muscles up before you stretch. So we do some form running, we do some hurdle mobility to loosen up your hips. Then we stretch, do some ground drills, rock backs, extensions, stuff like that. Then we break up into groups, four over here, four over there, four over there, and we do a station work, and then we rotate through the stations, and that goes on for about an hour before we even pick up a pole and pole vault.
Right.
Then they come to the pit, and then there's specific things that they have to do during that pit workout. You've got, for example, 3 rock backs, 3 extensions, 2 stay downs, 2 shoot throughs, back to 5 step full jumps. So everything is spelt out for them. This by this by this by this. I think they like that kind of organization.
Yeah.
That it's just not, let's show up and pole vault. I
Yeah.
mean, I know some clubs that do that, and I don't get it.
No,
I don't.
I don't either. I'm not wired that way at all. Um, that's pretty cool that you do, like I've you might be one of the first clubs I've seen, but besides, and I hope this doesn't sound like I'm tooting my horn or anything, but when I do camps, I do the same thing. I want to have like a station set up before we vault because to me, it feels like you're priming that system, right? Those muscles firing in a certain way. So then when you do vault, it almost feels like cheating. You don't feel like you really have to coach anymore because they're already doing the thing. Is that what happens with you too? Is that
Kind
kind
of,
of the
yeah.
idea? Yeah.
Yep.
And it, yeah, I just wish more clubs would do that. I don't know if I see it as much as I would like to, I suppose. But yeah, those just run a lap and jump. Just doesn't seem to work very well.
No.
I want to respect your time, so I'll keep moving here a little bit. But I
Hey,
mean,
you got to
even
remember, I'm retired. I got all the time in the
oh,
world.
cool. Then I won't stress about it nearly as much. So, I mean, when I was there, I could feel how much you loved your athletes. I could see how much they respected and you know, I keep saying love, but they loved you. Like they wanted to be there. You could tell it was like a safe place for them. And so I guess my next question is we have this memorial meet for Robert Platt. And so can you just kind of talk about where he came into the story of you starting this club, or was he one of your high school athletes,
Yeah,
or
he
like how
came
did
to
this
me.
happen?
Yeah, he came to me in seventh grade, from far away. Actually, he's across town quite a ways. George Ranch High School is not around the corner. It's probably a good hour drive to us. He came in seventh grade, jumped seventh grade and eighth grade, and then Jacob came, his teammate, the one-arm guy,
Yeah,
Jacob. Yeah, they were teammates at George Ranch High School. I think Jacob was a year behind him, so Robert was a year older. and they jumped seventh grade and eighth grade with me, and then all the way through high school. Um, Jacob actually went to state as a sophomore
Whoa.
and medaled. Jacob did. Robert went his junior year and medaled. Yeah, so I was with Robert for his seventh and eighth grade, which is middle school, and then all the way through high school. And then let's see, then he got a scholarship to U of H, University of Houston, and jumped his freshman and sophomore year. And then his junior year, that summer, he got into that boating accident and passed away. And it was tragic. I mean, my God, we were so close. I mean, I was with the kid for what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
so we became close, which I do with all my kids. We're like family. But when that happened, it was tragic. And I just, I would hold a meet every fall, but it wasn't called the Robert Platt Memorial. It was just a meet. It was just a meet to have. So what I did was I changed that meet that I used to have in the fall to the Robert Platt Memorial. And like you said in the video you did, he was really into charities and stuff like that, and he was trying to raise money for St. Jude's. And so I figured this would be a really great opportunity to give back to his charity if I held a meet and actually charge people to come to it, you know, because before it was like, I don't know, $10 come to it's all comers meet in the fall. But now it's grown pretty big. Robert Platt Memorial. This is our seventh year, I guess. I think it says that on the banner. So we've been doing it for 7 years, and we've been raising money for the charity. And, I'm doing it for not only for his charity, but for his parents, to keep his parents, because his parents, and I became close, and they love what I'm doing. Um, they're the ones that actually get the t-shirts for us and stuff like that. And it's the coaches from U of H usually show up every year at the meet. And it's become a pretty big meet. I guess a big meet, 80, 90 kids, that's a pretty big meet.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it's all for charity. We don't keep one penny of it. Every penny that we make, like, if we sell food or all the entry fees and stuff like that. And this year I'm going to be auctioning off some stuff. Hopefully it'll bring some money. And yeah, I donate it all back to his charity.
That's so cool, man. So
Yeah.
where was Robert on this timeline? Like when you started, was he sounds like pretty early, right? So if we were talking about you were at your high school and then you went to the volleyball club, right? Was he somewhere at the high school and the volleyball club or just
Yeah,
at
he was at both.
Okay, so this was
Yep.
super early. So he's one of the almost like the original founders
Yeah,
when he was around.
he was pretty early.
Do you
Yep.
feel like, and I can speak on this a little bit too, but do you feel like that those early kids are different in a way? Like you connect a little bit more, or is it just a different relationship, or do they all kind of feel the same for you?
All feel the same for me. You know, I don't know. There's not too many kids that I've had that have come through the club that I never really got along with. Um, everyone has their own personality and their own strengths and weaknesses. And that's another thing about our club, or about what I do, is you know, I treat every kid different because every kid's got different strengths and different weaknesses. So, that's how I coach. I
Yeah,
coach to their strengths and I try to build on their weaknesses. So, yeah.
yeah. I was just curious because I feel like when I had this first group when I was coaching a club at North Dakota Team Nodak, we called it, and I felt like I was learning how to coach while these kids were learning pole vault. So we both were like in that first phase, and that felt like a special place to kind of operate from. Where as I got to be a better coach, kids were still at the beginning, but I was in a different place, so we weren't growing at the same rate, or like it wasn't exponential. But that first group was like, oh, I made a mistake here and it affected your vault, but you provided some insight that helped me as a better coach, and then I helped you be a better vaulter, and it just felt like a different ride at the roller coaster. I don't know if that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
for my deal, it was you that helped me become a better coach. because, like I told you before, I knew how to pole vault, but I didn't know how to coach it. I never had a coach myself. So how am I going to coach it? And I learned from books and reading books and asking other people how, what they did to get better. And that's all I had. I didn't have anything else. When I started Barrier Pole Vault, I found you, and you were the one that helped me become a better coach. Like I said, I knew how to pole vault. I kind of knew how to coach it. I was told run fast, plan high.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't
Yeah.
know any drills. I didn't know anything. And when you would review my vaulters um, videos like you did almost every vaulter that's on that wall. I mean, I would go back and I would take what I heard from you and I would apply it in the next practice. And that's how I got better as a coach, was because of you reviewing those kids' videos, and I just started putting together little bits and little pieces and building. I came up with this thing called a cycle, and I do that same cycle for 2 weeks. So each kid that comes twice a week gets to do that cycle 4 times, and I try to keep it interesting so that they're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I change every 2 weeks, that cycle changes. And what I've composed is each cycle blends into the next cycle, so when they get to their district meet, they're peaking,
Yeah. That's pretty
and
cool.
then summertime we have fun,
Yeah.
but we have an indoor season that starts in November. So we jump indoors November, December, January, almost every weekend we're at a meet somewhere. And then February, their outdoor season starts. So they jump February, March, April. And then after April, they go to state. After state, summer track starts, and we jump May, June, July. And when we take August off because it's too hot to do anything in August in Houston.
Yeah. It's a full year, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool though. Can you just tell me a little bit about Robert? Like, what kind of person was he? What was he like?
He was, he's a great kid. Like any pole vaulter that I know, you know, have a little bit of fire in him. Almost every pole vaulter that I know, they say back, and they used to tell me back in the day, you got to be a little cuckoo to pole vault. And yeah, because I mean, running down the runway with a long stick in your hand and planting it into an 8-inch box. I mean, come on, and going upside down. You got to be a little cuckoo. But everyone, Robert he was just so great. And when we traveled together, he was always, so friendly and cordial to everybody, when we had family dinners and stuff like that. And I mean, he even helped me coach a little bit when we moved over to AVA. Um, he would help coach a little bit. He was always ready to do anything you asked from him. He's such a great kid, man. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
what what was his kind of personality with like other athletes or like at a meet? Was he one of those kids who was just like kind of stoic and like ready to go, or was he jumping up and down, slapping things and downing
He
Red
was
Bulls?
pretty calm, actually. He was pretty
Yeah.
calm and composed. He's pretty calm and composed, and he stuck to his, what we were working on. Um, and yeah, he just wanted to jump high. He
Yeah.
just yeah, he was one of the first. Wow, I had a girl go to state. One of my early girls was the girl that went to Navy, went to state. She was my first girl to go to state. And I've got a long running thing. I thought I was going to miss out on going to state this year because we weren't as strong, but we did get a kid at state. We've gotten kids to state for the past 9 or 10 years, I think. We've had
Whoa,
at least one kid go to state.
that's
Some
pretty
years
cool.
two, some years three, some years four,
Yeah.
but we've always had one, you know. Um, yeah,
But
it's pretty cool.
Robert was one of the early ones though, right?
He was one of the early ones. I
Yeah.
think he was the second or third. Might have been
Okay.
second. It might have been Caitlin, Robert, and then Jacob, and then Robert again, because Robert went early and then went late. I think he went his sophomore year and senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of going back, but those early like experiences as a coach too, you're like that had to be just a little bit more special because it was the first time, right? It's like it's got to me it's almost like, the first time you ride a roller coaster, like what the frick was this, and then the second and third and you're like, oh, I know what to expect now. It's still awesome. It's so great, but it feels a little different. But
Oh yeah, I felt like a duck out of water. I fish out of water when I went to my first few of them. I didn't know how to act and this and that, and as I grew, as I kept going back to state, I kept learning more and more and more. Because I don't know about y'all, but at our state meet, a club coach can't coach an athlete.
I was going to ask you about this too. We
Yeah.
can't either. It's a big weird
So I got
line.
around that. I got around that somehow, some way. Because I had a girl from Pearland where Rocky went to high school and she qualified for state a bunch. So I figured since I retired from teaching, I could always you can always substitute teach or become a volunteer coach. So I applied at Pearland in Pearland School District where they went to school to become a volunteer coach. So I was a volunteer coach, so I was allowed to coach them at state.
That's insane.
So I
That's
got around
that's cool.
that way. But that was
Can
early. That was like early in my coaching deal.
yeah.
But as I grew, I would have 4 or 5 kids at state. Well, I can't be a volunteer coach at 4 different
Yeah, I was gonna
schools.
ask, can you just volunteer in the entire state? Just send in your resume.
But we have a system. We have a system where the coach, their actual coach that doesn't know anything about pole vault, he sits in the front row. I sit behind him. The kid comes to the rail and I say, move back 6 inches. Well, he just heard me say to the coach, move back 6 inches. He can't look at me. He's got to look at the coach. And he'll hear me tell the coach, move back 6 inches. And the coach will say, move back 6 inches. I mean, and I'll take the video and I'll look at the video, I'll see what happened. I'll tell the coach takes him over and shows him the video and tells him what I said. So that's how state goes. But there's no other meet during the year that happens. It's only at state.
Yeah.
And it's become pretty cool because I all the officials at state know me. So I
Yeah.
get away with more than a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, so now we're kind of tapping into why I do what I do, right? You get these coaches who kind of get thrown into this event most of the time, right? They just need someone there for
Wide
safety.
receivers coach.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Or what did I get last year? I got another one where, hey, my kid wants to pole vault. No one wants to coach it, so now I'm her dad trying to coach pole vault, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
what do I do? And so this is where it gets kind of weird, right? Because the rule exists essentially to not create favoritism, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
that's what I heard too. But at the same time, if you have a coach who doesn't know what they're doing,
That's dangerous
that's
also.
dangerous also. So
Yeah.
what pill do you want to take?
Yeah.
That's and I feel like we're on the same page where you're like, I'd rather have the kids safe and know what they're doing and know what pole to be on instead of who cares what medal they get. Let's just get them all to jump as high as they can. Is that I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would imagine that's where you're at too with
Oh
that
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yep.
Before I get to these like last bunch of questions, just in case people want to know, where can they sign up for this Robert Memorial Meet if they want to go? Or you guys aren't full or anything yet, are you?
No, we're about half.
Okay. So if people want to go or learn more about it, is it on their website? Is that where?
Yes.
Okay.
Bay Area Polo Academy.com.
Okay. And anybody can go
Yeah.
at this point? Okay.
Yep.
People who have never pole vaulted before, could they even give it a shot if they wanted to?
I don't know if
Don't know.
I guess.
All right. I was just checking. I don't know. Maybe turn them into pole vaulters, just let them land in the pit a couple times and get their badge. That's
I don't know how safe that would be.
Yeah. Um, no, but I think what you're doing is really cool. When I went down there a few years ago, it was one of the coolest things I saw. There was like it was a meet, but it felt bigger than a meet. It felt like everyone was there. I mean, one to remember him, but it was like a celebration of his life and what he did, and to keep that memory going, and knowing that his parents are still a part of it, and you've talked about family a lot over the years and in this podcast, but it's very apparent when you do things like this, and I just want you to know, I see it, and I think other people do too. And it's a really big deal. It's that you're doing this. It's really cool, man.
Well, I'm glad that people are continuing to support what we're trying to keep alive. I mean, his parents, they show up at my house every year with the t-shirts and we talk for a while and they're really, really happy that I'm continuing to keep Robert's, legacy alive, I guess you
Yeah,
could say it that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y- Do you feel comfortable talking about like how much money you've raised the last couple of years for him to donate?
Yeah, I think last year was our biggest year. I think I read somewhere, I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it was close to $4,000. I know we started out with 17 and then we went to 20 something and then we went to 28. Last year was a cool year because I had a parent that works for this big company and apparently they matched something, some figure. I can't remember what it was, but it was big, which put it over the top,
Oh,
made it
that's
really
cool.
big. Yeah.
Is there a way for people to donate just if they wanted to?
Um, I don't have a way yet, but I'm thinking about putting something up
Okay.
um on social media. What I'm planning on doing is putting his video, the video that I sent you, where he skies over 16 feet,
Yeah.
and then putting the meat picture up there, and then maybe putting my Venmo up there that they can donate because all of the stuff, like the raffle stuff that we're going to do and the mulligans that we're going to do, all of that's going to be paid through Venmo. I think it's
Okay.
the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And then I just take all that money that's in there and I just put it all together in a package and send it to St. Jude's.
Oh, that would be really cool if you could do the raffles on your website too. If people just wanted to kind of, you get what I'm saying? Then you could have
Yeah,
people all over the United States try and. I'm not trying to put more work on it. Maybe it's a next year thing or down the road, but
probably.
yeah, but that'd be kind of cool. I would help push that for sure.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that it's just so cool, man. I'm happy you're still doing it. Um, I just want to ask you a few more.
Okay.
So this has been in my head a while, but you've been in the sport way longer than I have, so I just want to get your take on it. But how important do you think elite pole vaulters are for growing our sport?
For growing the sport, I know I follow them.
Yeah,
I mean, because I'm always trying to learn. I never want to stop learning. So I'm always trying to learn and pick up stuff that maybe I didn't know. So I follow a lot of the elite vaulters and I think it's important for them because social media is so big right now and so, it's so popular that a lot of kids, especially the young ones, I tell them, find a pole vault idol. Who is your pole vault idol? Find somebody that you can relate to and try to follow and maybe learn from and just grow from somebody that's better than you, you know?
yeah,
Um, and maybe one day that might be you. That's one of my, it's one, like I told you when I addressed the kids before practice, I have a list of things that I asked them, um, not only grab bag questions, but there's certain topics that I hit on here and there. And one of them is, who's your pole vault idol? Find a pole vault idol. You know, Mine was Bob Seagren. You know, Bob Seagren was my pole vault idol growing up. I even caught his pole at an international meet indoors at the Montreal Forum one year. I mean, so you have a pole vault idol. Find somebody that you can relate to, or you want to look up to, and maybe one day be like.
yeah, yeah. Who do your kids pick lately? Like when you ask that question? Well, besides Mondo, I mean that's just seems like a ridiculous.
I haven't posed that question yet, but I'm going to this week,
Okay.
so I'll find out.
Yeah, let me know because I used to when I did camps. I'm gonna try and start them back up here soon. Two kids made it hard for a while, but that's a whole different conversation. But when I would ask, a lot of them couldn't even name five elite pole vaulters.
You're correct.
Yeah, and that to
That's
me that
sad.
seems like a huge
That's
problem.
sad.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't get it because I show them videos all the time of different phases. Who does this is so and so. Look how he realigns, or this is so and so. Look at his inversion. You know, and it's not like I don't show them who these elite pole vaulters are. You know, they see them both on the women's side and the men's side. You know, so I don't know if they're just the young generation is just not into that type of thing. They show up and they just want to become better pole vaulters, and they're not interested in Mondo or you know
Yeah.
Sandy Morris or Katie Najat, whatever.
Yeah. I think that's my point though, and I've thought about this a lot because I look at and and if you don't want to talk about this, let me know. But when I look at USATF and like the World Athletics Federation and these guys are promoting these elite athletes that these younger generations don't even follow, which to me seems kind of crazy, where it seems like the more I'm in it, the magic sauce is just the next bar for these kids. Right? Like that's really what they want. It's I mean we're both wearing Yankees hats. It's not like yeah. I mean we watch Aaron Judge, hit a home run in the foul pole this week, which is insane. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids are still watching baseball and they have baseball heroes. But I don't know if it's a culture thing in our sport where like why aren't there you go.
Team Canada.
Yeah, I only have one hat, so I'm kind of stuck here for now. But yeah, like I don't know what that is. Like, have you thought about that at all, or why? Like, what is it? What is that? Like,
I just think it's the younger this generation. I
yeah.
really, yeah.
Hmm. Do you do you think it would be more helpful to promote? Um, I know we're just kind of I'm going off on a tangent, but do you think USATF is doing somewhat of an injustice in a way by focusing on things people don't want to look at necessarily all the time, like for the younger generations, or should there be something else there that kind of bring them into the sport? I'm all about trying to grow the sport, and it doesn't feel like focusing on people winning medals that no one wants to look at is growing the sport very well.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I think it's been 3 years now that all the clubs in Texas have boycotted USATF
Yeah,
and AAU.
I've heard that, and as soon as I didn't need my USATF card, I did not sign up again either. I needed it to go to the US Championships, and after that, it's like it
It
just doesn't
became
make
a
sense.
circus. It became like a circus over here, and we as clubs, as pole vault clubs, decided that we are not going to them anymore. We're just going to go to pole vault only meets. I go to one meet, the Carl Lewis Invitational at U of H. I go to that meet because only reason why is because I've been going for so long and it's close. It's right up the street.
Yeah,
So yeah, so a lot of my kids will go to the Carl Lewis Invitational. It's a high school meet. It's a 2 day, 2 or 3 day meet. I think the girls jump Thursday, the boys jump Friday, and then we're done. But that's the only actual track meet that we go to. All the rest of the meets we go to are pole vault only meets.
okay,
Pole vault only. Unless, during the high school season, obviously you're going to track meets, but
yeah,
off season, indoor season, all indoors, and all summer meets are all pole vault only meets. We don't go to U staff meets or AAU meets anymore.
that's so cool. I mean, in my head, that's what I've always kind of hoped would happen. Do you see that helping? Have you seen that being in it, seeing the pole vault grow in a different way than it was when it was part of the USATF or when you guys were trying to do those types of meets?
Um,
Or is it staying kind of stagnant, I suppose? I don't know.
well, the AAU, I think it was it AAU or U staff was here in Houston this past summer. And I knew some people from other states were coming here to compete in it and asked me why my kids aren't going. And I said, as Texas, all the clubs in Texas decided to boycott 3 years ago, and we haven't been ever since. It's just become crazy. It's 110 degrees. You got 30 kids on the runway. You get one run through and you're expect to jump high. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work like that. No, 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 no. We don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So the MAC Vault Nationals that we go to every year. We got people that come from all over the states for that meet. And they've got three runways, no more than eight kids on each runway. I mean, it's super. You get to compete and maybe get a PR out of the deal. Whereas if you're jumping with 30 kids on one runway in 100-degree weather, it's
Yeah.
hard to compete. Even though some of my kids did really well and medaled and became all Americans, it was still wasn't conducive. It wasn't good for pole vault. I mean, you know as well as I do, pole vault it's hard. It's not easy,
Yeah.
you know? And when you're sitting in the hot sun for 2 hours before you take your first jump, because they let some kid from Massachusetts qualify at 8 feet and you're not coming in till 14 feet. I mean, it's just, they've got to come up with a better system on how to qualify for these nationals.
Yeah.
I think that's number one. Have a qualifying height, limit the field size, you know. If there's two runways, use two runways. Where's one year we were there where they could have easily ran two runways and eliminated the 40 kids on one runway, but they didn't because they said they didn't have enough officials or whatever. I don't know, whatever. So it was just excuse after excuse after excuse. Finally, we decided as clubs we're just not going to do it anymore.
Yeah. The Mac Vault reaches out to me every year to head down there, and I wish I could. I told him like I have a daughter, maybe in next year or the year after, and then I had a son, and
Yeah,
now it's like oh crap, how am
it's
I gonna
pretty
manage that?
cool. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get out there for sure, but it's I just think it was what I was hoping the clubs would do. Like I don't know if people know, but Earl Bell was like the only pole vault club for a long time, and now if I have that map on my site, and every few months when I update it, I'm like, it just looks more like chicken pox. It's just like they keep popping up everywhere. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, if you want a really good meet, you want pole vaulters to make the pole vault meet. You don't want a bunch of people who don't know the event to try and throw it together, which is what I
Oh, the
see
street
happening.
street vaults have become so popular. I mean,
Yeah,
people are in the middle of the street and they're going, "What is this business?" I remember I was at Dolphin Street Vault last year, and I had some young guy just asking me questions like he had no clue what was going
yeah,
on. And I sat there and explained to him, yeah, this is how we're trying to promote the sport. I mean, it's really, really cool.
yeah,
People coming out of bars and just watching these kids flying through the air on a pole. I don't know if you know who Greg West is, but
yeah,
he
definitely.
runs West Athletics, and they're not far from us. They're up in the Woodlands. Him and I decided that I came up with the idea, and he said he would help me, is have we have this place down here not far from me called the Kima Boardwalk, where there's rides and attractions and water and restaurants and bars and all kinds of fun stuff down there. It's
Yeah,
called the Kima Boardwalk. And I was thinking about having a street vault down in Kima. And
yes.
he said he would supply the runways if I would supply the pits. So I said, okay, we have to get in touch with some people down there and find out where we're going to put it, the dates we're going to have, and stuff like that, and all the logistics. So we decided that one day we're going to go down there with our wives and maybe go out for dinner and talk to some people down there and just see if we can get it going on. Sometime this summer coming up, we're going to try to have a Kima Boardwalk vault.
You keep me in the loop for that. That
Yeah.
sounds
It
fantastic.
was either that or Galveston on the Strand, which is
Okay,
another cool place to have it. But Kima's not far from us. Probably
man.
15 minutes from my place,
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Can you imagine being on a ride and just watching people pole vault too? It'd be
Yeah.
pretty insane.
So that's
Um,
in the works. We're planning on maybe doing that this
okay.
summer.
That sounds so cool, man. Have you
Yeah.
done a street meet before? Just put one up?
I have never done. I've been to
Okay.
one. I
Yeah.
actually jumped in one in Montreal in 1977, maybe
They were doing them way back then
78.
too, huh? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's so cool.
It was fun. I did a mall vault in Montreal and I did a street vault in Montreal back in the 70s, late 70s.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. The
Yeah, it was
mall
fun.
the mall vault was made. I always say that jumping in at the Drake Relays mall vault was probably the coolest experience I've had. Like I can't get this image on my head, but I went over 17 feet and I looked to the left to see if the standard or the crossbar was staying up, and there was this little old lady like looking from the second story, just clapping at me, like, and I'll never be able to see that again, like that was a once in a lifetime kind of cool thing. But yeah, those street vaults are they need to keep happening.
Yeah,
They're so
they're
good.
fun. They're fun.
We had one in Minneapolis. I don't know if you remember, but it was called the Brits Pub Vault.
Yes,
And yeah, they put it on a roof in downtown
yes.
Minneapolis, and it was right on the pub. But the thing I remember, I mean, a lot of it was really cool, but maybe one of my favorite parts that happened was people would just go get drinks, and then they'd go up top to see what was happening. And there was no chairs. It was like grass up there because they would play lawn darts on top of this. So it was like all on grass. But I just remember seeing this guy with two huge like pitchers in his hands of beer. And he walked up and he saw someone clear this huge bar. And he just sat down cross-legged and started like drinking his beer. And then same experience you had, just started asking questions about the event. And
Yep.
I was like, this is how it grows. You just got to get it in front of people because it's
hmm
so cool when they see it, but it's hard to find. It can be hard to find.
It's a special event, that's for sure.
Yeah. So with this, what do you think the sport needs to grow? Like I mean, you're growing the crap out of these clubs, and I see clubs growing. But when you think about this, like what do you think the sport needs?
One thing that I'd like to say is I wish the high school coaches would quit thinking of us club coaches as the enemy. We are there to help your kids score points for your team. We're not trying to take over your program. And a lot of these coaches that I'm almost got in a fist fight last fall at the first outdoor meet with another coach because they puff up and they go, "This is my kid, and this is my book." Dude, chill out, man. Chill out. I'm just trying to help your kids score points for your team.
Yeah.
I wish they would just understand we're not the enemy. We're just trying to help your kids score points for your team.
Yeah.
It's an easy 10 points. It's an easy 8 points. If they just place, they're going to score points for your team. We're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to help you. I wish they would just understand that. I don't get it.
Is that the majority of high
But,
school coaches around too?
I don't go through that as much anymore is
Okay.
because Bay Area pole vault has become more popular. And, I coach kids from over 40 different high schools in the
Yeah.
Houston area. So most of the coaches in the Houston area know who I am, or they
Yeah.
know of Bay Area pole vault. And so, you get this odd, one or two guys every year that just want to puff up and just, oh man, I'm too old to be getting in fist fights.
Yeah. Are the majority of these coaches new, or have they been around a
A lot
while?
of them are young
Okay.
and they just want to puff up and I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets. I've seen it. I've heard about it. It gets strange. I've had a lot of people contact me and try and figure out how to have some kind of conflict resolution between a coach they've been working with, like a club coach versus the high school coach, and parents are all stuck in the middle of it. But yeah, it's at its very core. I always just say, both you guys just want your kid to jump as high as they can. Just
Yep.
if you could find a way to work together, they're going to jump even higher than if just one of them you was working with them. And I don't know. Hopefully that gets through. Where they can. Yeah, they want the same thing. But yeah, it gets weird. I
I you
hear.
know I don't understand it. Like this one guy, I mean, this kid that we're talking about, their parents are paying me to coach her, to show her how to pole vault, to make her better. They're paying me. They pay me money.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to
yeah,
help her score points for your team. You don't
yeah,
have to ball puff up and get all in my face about it, man. Chill out.
yeah. That sounds frustrating, man.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah,
is. It's
it
bad.
sounds awful, actually. Um, all right, last question here, and I'm
Gotcha.
sure you're very biased on this, but do you see clubs as being a good thing for the sport? Um, and what makes a club good versus one that can be detrimental for for the sport.
I don't think that any club would be detrimental to the sport, unless they just didn't know what they were doing. But I don't think any pole vault club would ever start a pole vault club unless they knew what they were doing. I mean, you know, there's Houston's a big city, and I'm basically the only show in town. Other people have tried to emulate what I do, and just they can't. I don't know why, but I wouldn't even be, shy to, if they came and asked me, how do you do this? How do you do that? I'll tell them I need more people like me around. So I don't
Yeah, you
get
had a
80
wait list
kids
of
every year.
80.
I have a waiting list. Yeah, I think pole vault clubs are the way to grow the sport, man, because it's so specialized. Most of these high school coaches, they just don't know enough about the sport to make the kids good and be able to score points for their team. Most of the, and I've seen it, Shawn. Most of the high schools in this area, anyway, I don't know about y'all's, but most of the high schools in this area will take a receivers coach or a football coach and say, hey, go coach the pole vaulters.
Yeah.
Well, he gets on YouTube and starts looking up pole vault, and he becomes a YouTube pole vault coach. And, whereas you and I have pole vaulted before, we know how it feels. We know what it takes, to build a good pole vaulter, besides just looking at a video and saying, okay, he did that, you need to do this. You
Yeah.
know, it's different when we've actually felt what it's like to pole vault.
Yeah.
And I think that, the clubs that I see that are successful are like you and I. We've jumped before, we've had highs, we've had lows, we've had defeat, we've had success, and we put it all together into a package and just try to grow the kids, little by little, inch by inch, and not expect a kid to go from 6 feet to 15 feet, like, overnight. It's not going to happen. It's a process.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, especially the kids today, they want instant gratification. And pole vault is not one of those sports. And I tell them right at first day, because I don't beat around the bush with anything. I tell them what it is. I said, look, I know that because I was a teacher for many, many years, and I know that a lot of these kids these days want instant gratification. And if that's the way you are, you're not going to get it in this sport because it
Yeah.
is a process and it does take time,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm. Do you have you thought much about how, well, I mean, obviously you have if you almost got in a fist fight last year, but like there is this conversation about clubs destroying the high school version of pole vault where it's a cheaper option to get into the sport, and it's a way to do it through the school system versus having to go to a club. And and I'm being a bit of a devil's advocate here because I've had people also reach out and go, there have been some clubs out there that are only spending time with their good athletes, and then everyone else kind of gets pushed to the back to collect money for the club, which is gross in my eyes. But you can't. I don't know how to make it a perfect place either, and I don't have an answer for that. I think if you want good clubs, there's going to have to be some probably a couple rough ones in there too. But what's your thoughts on clubs and I don't want to say hurting the high school place, or is it doing that even from
Okay,
your
I'm going to
perspective?
tell you what I did
Yeah.
and what I'm doing. I did, and I'm in the process of doing.
Okay.
I worked for a school district, CCISD, for 20 something years. I know a lot of the coaches in the school district. Even though I've been retired for 12 years, I still know a lot of the coaches. A lot of the coaches still know who I am. Um, I actually one day after golf drove to the administration office where all the athletics is. I went up the elevator, walked right straight into the guy's office, the athletic director's office, whom I've known for years. I knew him when he was a discus throwing coach at Clearbrook High School. And now he's the athletic director of all CCISD. I walked right into his. I said, "Hey, is Jimmy around?" "Oh yeah, he's right back there." I walked right into his office. "Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, how you doing? How's retirement?" I said, it's great, man. I get to play every day, golf every day, and I coach pole vaulters in the evening. Oh, yeah, yeah. I heard you guys are doing good. I said, here, I got a plan for you. Listen to this. I said, what I would like to do, this is what I propose to you, is one day after football season's over, because I know it's football season and football's big in Texas. I said, when things calm down after football season, what I would like is I would like to hold a coach's clinic at my place, free of charge. Bring all your head coaches, track coaches, and whoever they're going to assign to coach the pole vault. Bring them to my place, and I will do a 3-hour clinic with them and show them how we go through beginners, how we advance an intermediate vaulter, and how we work with advanced vaulters. I said, I will do that for you for free. What do you think? He goes, yeah, send me an email and just remind me. And after football season, I'll get with the coaches and see what they say about it. That's what I'm
Fantastic.
doing. That's what
That's
I'm giving,
awesome.
that's what I'm going to give back. I mean, at least if they have some knowledge, it's better than having no knowledge because it's a dangerous sport.
Yeah,
You put the kid on the wrong run on the wrong pole, he's going to hurt himself,
right.
you know? Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. That's for my school district. That's for the district that I taught at. Now,
Yeah.
we've got 15 other school districts in Houston. This is just one district,
Yeah.
So I'm just
Well,
trying to help
it might
close to
grow.
home.
Yeah, well, it might grow just like your club did, right? Like if this
Yeah.
is successful, it can keep getting bigger too. I love that, man. I mean, that's what I started doing at my camps too. I was like, I'm gonna have the pole vault camp, but then I'm also gonna have whoever wants to come to this coaches camp. There's gonna be a clinic involved with it too. The athletes are all welcome to come. I think we're on the same page with that, and hopefully that works for
I
you,
had to
man.
stop doing pole vault camps.
Yeah, too big, too many.
I have enough.
Yeah.
I don't need any more kids.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of nice taking a break. I was traveling way too much, and
Yeah.
they are pretty stressful. But I don't know, the amount of people you meet is
I
pretty cool.
enjoyed the time when I did the camps. I
Yeah,
really did. I had fun doing the camps. But I did it for a reason to promote barrier pole vault and
yeah,
maybe get a couple more students. I don't need it anymore.
yeah. I'd actually much rather do coaches clinics right now. I feel like it has a bigger impact than teaching some kids how to pole vault. But
Hmm.
I don't know if you feel the same way. It's like I'm gonna teach the coaches so then they can teach 10 kids instead of me just teaching one kid.
That would
And
work. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's if I could figure out how to do that, that'd be the way to go. But hey, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with me, man. This has been pretty cool. I learned a lot about you I didn't even know. It's been
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to promote or say about what you do or anything like that?
Um, I wanted to say it at the beginning and I forgot to, but
Okay.
um, I can't thank you enough for what you have done for me and my program. It's I don't think you realize how much of an impact you have had on growing Bay Area pole vault to what it is today. I mean, I know we've been friends for what, almost 12 years now. When I
Yeah.
first found you on YouTube, and you would critique my kids' videos and send me back feedback, and I would give them feedback, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and I followed you, and we became friends, and I don't I don't think you know how much you have given to me to help me grow what we have today. I don't think you know that, and I am so grateful that we met. So grateful.
I'm just as grateful. It's been one of the coolest relationships from making fart jokes on YouTube where this came from. Oh, oh man. Yeah, I'm terrible at accepting compliments, and I'm aware of this, and nice things said about me, which is stuff I've needed to work on and on myself. But I hear you, man, and you put up a banner of me in your place, which blew me away, and I I don't think I know the impact either. I'm going to be honest. That's why I asked the other day. I was like, I asked. I think I sent you a text. I was like what did I do? And you're, but the only thing that made it make a little bit of sense for me was you were like, I knew how to pole vault. I didn't know how to coach it, and I was like, oh, okay, I can relate. I can relate to that a little bit. It just showed you. I pointed out a road. I guess I don't know. That was it. And
Exactly.
um, but someone did that for me at one time too, you know, and that's where it feels weird, where I'm like, I don't feel like I've done anything, but I can see it in your face,
Oh man.
and
Yeah.
it's I keep looking away because again, I don't know what it is about hearing nice things said about me, but I appreciate it, man. I can feel it for sure. It means a lot. Your kids are lucky to have you. I think I said
Oh,
this last time I
thanks.
was at your place too. I don't think you realize the impact you're having on them always either. It's big, man. Like a coach and a teacher, I don't think they realize what they're doing for these kids. And you've created a cool culture down there. It's neat. It's
I've
really neat.
turned some people on to your video too. Some people that I play golf with that I used to coach football with and or against at other schools that have retired now. Now I'm playing golf with them.
Yeah.
They really didn't know that I was into this. I said I always turn them on to your video. I said go to YouTube and type in Dream Pole Vault Facility and check it out.
Yeah.
So I'm turning them on to the video just like that, and I watch it like at least once or twice a week.
Really?
I do. I just keep watching.
That's
I just love it. I mean, it's
that's
so
cool.
cool. You know, I'm going to ask them what is the first line in the video, which I totally love. I want to show you the coolest pole vault facility on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, that opening line is just it gets me every time. I mean, it's so freaking cool.
Dude, what people don't know though, if they don't watch the video, you literally have a horse that you can feed off the back of your runway, which is, did you ever put carrots in that bag to feed them and stuff?
I did bring carrots.
Yeah.
I did bring carrots one day to practice. I did.
Oh
And they
man,
fed them. They used them. Yep.
that's so cool. I don't know any other place that has a horse in their pole vault facility, essentially. But well, man,
Anyway,
I gotta
hey,
go watch
is anybody
Monsters
going to
Inc.
be able to see this deal?
Oh yeah, I'll post it this week
Oh,
sometime.
really?
Yeah,
Where at?
if
Where at?
I'll post it on my One Whole Life podcast thing I've got, and then I'll probably try and post it on YouTube, on the Team Hoot one too.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna post it, and hopefully it sends people your way. That was kind of the hope at the end of it.
Sounds good. I
Yeah.
will.
Well, cool, man. Well, you have a good day. Say hi to your whole crew for me. All right.
I will. I will.
All right. See you, man.
All right. Peace out.